science knowledge only adds to the excitement, the mystery, and the awe of a flower.
Evidence is evidence. It's public. Everybody can look at the evidence and assess it, and eventually, if there's enough evidence, come to the same conclusion.
For newcomers and old-timers alike, the Chloe Sanctuary hopes to give you insight into the health and happiness of your companion parrots. We hope to help you build happy homes using reliable and proven tools. The best homes are built on a rock-solid foundation. And the best foundation for a happy home is the bedrock of science. When we stand on the shoulders of giants, the scientists who have worked long and diligently to understand our companions, we can reach new heights of understanding. And understanding is the key to success. What does avian veterinary medicine have to tell us about our feathered friends? How can we prevent illness, see the signs of disease before it's too late, and care for our birds through ill health? What light does behavioral science shed on their nature, needs, and hopes? How can the tools of behavior shaping make our homes happier for us and our companions? How can we deal with biting, screaming, or other misbehavior? What is it like to live among parrots, let them roam around about you and share a life with them? How much freedom do you give them? What happens if you form a bond of trust with them? Watch and see what understanding their true nature can do for you. Come with us on a journey as we do more than examine a parrot's world. We live in it. Make some popcorn and bring in a few wood blocks. Let everyone have something to chew and a comfortable place to perch. Cockatoo is a presentation of the Chloe Sanctuary for Parrots and Cockatoos, a nonprofit charity dedicated to the empowerment of captive parrots and public awareness.
Hi, and welcome to Cockatoo, Cockatoos with Attitude, episode 34, a one-man band, entertaining your parrots. And with us today we have Lorelei, and Salamander, and Peaches, Babaloo, Coco, who's not screaming right now, she was a minute ago, and back here hiding is Roman. Up on top of the perch, we have Sugarbird and Chloe Bird, the recently divorced. Yeah, I think she's been reading that handbook for the recently divorced. It's like what they have in Beetlejuice, but slightly different, right? I love you too. I know, and I love you too. And you're a good boy. You are? Oh, well, of course you're a good boy. Yeah. So, entertaining these guys, it's not like having dogs and cats. You know, with a cat, you got a ball of string and a laser light, an occasional mouse running around the house, you're taken care of, right? Then just whenever they come over and want to be petted, you're done. With a dog, you have a couple of chew toys. You get to take them out and watch them have their bowel movements in public. They love going outside and sniffing things, so that's entertainment there is pretty simple, right? But these guys, having the intelligence of primates, it's not so simple, right? Right. So there have been a lot of things. There's an excellent video on foraging. We'll start with that, but excellent video on foraging. I'll put a link in the show notes to that. And we actually tried, and a good example is Sugar's perch that she's sitting on over there. It was my first attempt at making a foraging perch, which was totally ignored by all the birds. I mean, they'd sit on the perch, but they wouldn't forage in any of the bowls for anything. So now it's just become a place for the birds to play. And there are some items on there that Sugar likes to play with, but we'll get into the variations on play. We're not, hey, wrong species. I know it. They're cameras, okay? They're cameras. They're cameras. They're cameras. I can cover your face, but they're just cameras, okay? We hope you will consider supporting us on Patreon today. This is how it works. We produce up to 2 videos a month. As a patron, you pledge to give us a donation, whatever you feel is right and meets your budget. Patreon gives us your gift monthly. You can easily set a limit on how much you donate a month. You can change the amount of your pledge at any time. Your gift will allow us to continue bringing you entertaining and informative videos. Patreon.com/Chloe Sanctuary. We look forward to your participation in Cockatoo. So with foraging, one way is just to take and, like, if they have a special treat, they like pine nuts or sunflower seeds, and don't let people tell you that sunflower seeds are evil. You just don't want to overfeed them something like that, which is, you know, high protein and high fat. You just don't want to do it, but they can have a few. It's not a problem. So you could take just something simple like a Kleenex or just a piece of paper, white paper, and put, you know, crinkle it up and put a couple of treats in there. Pine nuts or... No, you can't do that. Wrong species. I keep telling you. Wrong. No. Let go of the fingers. Boy, you're pretty insistent today, aren't you? You're pretty insistent today, and you're a good boy, and I love you very much, but not that way, okay? Wrong species. Yeah. So you just put something like that, crinkle it up in paper, and toss it in their food bowl. Now, if they have treats they like, and that's the only way they can get them, they'll start opening those pieces of paper to get them. Now, you may have to show them something's inside there. You may have to open up the paper and show it to them. You may have to open up the paper and show it to them for 2 months. You never know how long it's going to take, because they're used to getting things from you a certain way, and the question is, who's training whom, right? They may refuse to open the paper just on general principles. That's like your boss at work suddenly asking you to take on a few other responsibilities, a little promotion without pay. Some people will do it. Other people will just ignore it. Say, oh, you know, I kind of forgot to do that. That's not part of my job description. And they'll play that role with you. They'll do that. So with foraging, if you have them loose, like in this room, you can hide things into like these little extra cages we have in here. You can leave the door open, leave, you know, bowls in them, and occasionally put little things they like. And once they get the idea that there's something they like in there, they'll start checking out the cages. And at some point, I'm going to have to set up some hidden cameras in the front play area, because Lorelei is an expert. Where is that girl? Oh, she's down here. Lorelei's an expert at that, going from cage to cage, getting what she wants. So if anyone leaves a sunflower seed, she's going to go for that. Next after that would be the pine nuts. So anyone leaving sunflower seeds, probably not going to have any left when she's done. And anyone leaving pine nuts, the same thing. So she's a good forager. Coco's a good forager. She usually forages for hi, sweetie. For papaya first. I love you too, Roman. Roman, on the other hand, likes to forage for toys in Peach's cage. And he'll go in there and he'll want to refuse to come out. So I have to lock up Peach's cage when she's not in it. And he's out in that room because he'll take it over and he won't want to come out. He will eventually, but, you know, a little coaxing. And it's called a little stick with a tiny bit of peanut butter on it. So craft stick with peanut butter on it. So So they don't need to only forage for food. They'll also forage for toys. There's certain toys they really like. Like with her, she loves the little yuccas, you know, the kebabs. If you take the string out, or you get the little pieces by themselves and you leave them around somewhere, stick a pine nut in one, in the shell for her. She doesn't like them without the shell. She won't touch them if they're not in the shell. So she'll dig through that to get to the pine nut and then continue to chew. So with her, you can just stick a pine nut in there. Lorelei, I haven't tried that. She doesn't really seem to care too much for kebabs, so I'm sure if I started putting sunflower seeds in there, she'd start tearing them up. But that's the thing, too, since each bird has something special they like, it is kind of nice if they have different things. Otherwise, if they are roaming around foraging, they may get somebody else's special foraging item, and then, you know, then you're going to have to figure a way so that everybody gets their foraging time. So there are a lot of good ideas for foraging, and I'll put a link in the show notes. In the Parrot Enrichment and Activity book, which is, there's actually 2 versions, and they're both free. You can print them. You can actually, if you were to print them, you could actually charge someone for the printing cost. That's it. They don't want anybody making a profit off it. Wonderful little book, lots of great ideas in there. So foraging is a natural behavior, something they normally do twice a day, in the morning and at night. They eat in the morning, they goof around and sleep a lot during the middle, late morning and early afternoon. They're cameras. That's a beautiful song. Is there a second verse? Is there a second verse to that, baby? Huh? Oh, there is? Let's hear it. Oh, verse 2. Good girl. Good girl, Peaches. Good girl. Excellent vocalizations, yes. You make a great aria. You should be an opera singer. What? What do you want, sweetie? Well, you can't have that. Oh, third verse. We're getting the whole thing, the whole treatment today. So,
if you are enjoying our videos, we hope that you can find it in your heart to support our work. It costs between $25,000 to $30,000 a year to care for our flock of heartbroken and abused birds. Most of our birds came with feather destructive disorder. Even a basic exam with blood work costs $300. Medical emergencies cost us thousands a year. We are a non-profit, and donations are tax-deductible to the full extent of the law. We need your support. Birds deserve a happy and healthy life. Become our patron at www.patreon.com/Chloe Sanctuary to support us on a per-video basis, or donate at our webpage today.
there's, I believe at the Birdie Boutique online, you can get these little deals that you can, we haven't done it because they're kind of pricey, but you can actually just stick them into cages in different places, and then you can put food in them so that they're in different spots and the birds have to look for them. That's good. Anytime you can take this massive intelligence inside those craniums and you can divert them to do things other than think about, I'm sitting in a cage, or I'm bored. You know how kids are with the I'm bored. You know what happened to the little boy in Jaws, right, who was bored? That's not going to, it's not like the big shark's going to come up and get your bird, but the shark that tends to get these guys is the pain of having nothing to do, and that boredom can drive them to have stereotypic behaviors. You know, like you've been to the zoo, and if you've been to one of these really chintzy zoos, we have the San Diego Zoo, and you know it's even hard to see the animals because all the enclosures are made for them. you have to stand there for a while and peer through like a garden. But if you've seen the old style zoos, you'd see an animal pacing back and forth. In fact, Rainer Maria Rilke, a German author, has a little poem called Der Panther. I'll put that in the show notes too, which is about a panther going back and forth in a cage, and how all it sees is those bars, and sees those bars, and sees those bars, and then once in a while it stops. It seems to see outside the bars that there's a world out there, and then back to the bars, and back to the bars. That's stereotypic, okay? There are a lot of things. You'll see a bird do this. You'll see autistic children do that, or people who are in institutions because their minds are gone will often just repeat the same motions over and over again. That's called stereotypic behavior. So you don't want your birds to get into that, and if you can keep them interested. Now, besides foraging, and I should get that DVD, that'll really help. It'll give you a good idea how to set up a foraging environment. But the other things that you can do too, lots of different things you can do to enrich their lives. As the one-man band, or one-person band, I guess I've got to be PC these days, although I've never heard it spoken any other way. In order to do that, you have to do a lot of variations. One thing you should do regularly, at least once a month or so, move the perches around in the cage a little bit. If you have a perch going this way, maybe move it up, move it down, move it a different direction if you can. Change things up so that they have to adjust. There's something. No, there's no button left on there. Oh, you're checking? Okay. If you want to check to see if there's a button, go for it. There was a button, you needed, I know. So moving things around in their cage, if it's possible, if you have food bowls you can move around. A lot of the ones that are built into the cage, you can't do that. But the ones that have the little screw plastic pieces and you mount the bowl inside of it and they twist on, those are made by Lixit and some other, I guess a couple of other companies that make something similar. But those are good because you can move them around regularly and make it so that they're not always having to go to the same place. You know how it is if you've had the same job for a long time and they haven't changed anything, and every day you go in and do the same thing over and over and over again, and it gets boring. Now, it may not be terribly exciting for you when you walk in and find out there's been a corporate takeover, and now all of a sudden your job duties are going to change. You may not like it, but what it does do is it breaks you out of that mindset of, I'm going into work again. You may be going, oh no, what are they going to do to me today? But you're not focused on, I'm going to be sitting in the same chair or at the same workstation doing the same thing. So these guys are intelligent, so you need to do that. You need to challenge them with new positions for things and make, and you can move the cage too. If they seem to be getting into a funk and they're not paying much attention to the world, you put them in their cage and they're just kind of sitting there, they're ignoring their toys or whatever, then you might move their cage. If that becomes a problem and you can tell they're unhappy, you can move them back. But give them something else to do. If they're in one corner, move them to another corner. It's always best to have their cages, if possible, in a corner situation. They're prey animals, so they don't like the idea of having predators being able to get to them from all sides. The worst place is the middle of a room. So if you can get them from one corner to another, that's a good thing. Just keep that interest up. If you've got more than one cage, you can put them in one cage for part of the day and the other cage for another part of the day, and then you can switch the routine later so that now they're in this cage while you're not home during the day, and so you can move them from cage to cage. When you're home, if they're going into a cage, you close up one and open the other. You can do that kind of thing. It's also nice to have that night cage so that I love you too, sweetheart. So that they're getting moved from wherever their main bird room is into a different place regularly. You know, that's a move twice a day, from here to there, and from there back to there. So they don't get stuck in the idea that this is the only place they can be when... And these guys all like their night cages. You know, in fact, that one... Hey, Sugar, I'm talking about you. Yeah, you, Sugar. Yeah, you, Sugar. Uh-huh. Sugar, Sugar Bird. That one has a fit every night. She wants to go, yeah, you. Yeah, you. That's right. She wants to go into her night cage, and she actually does what's a kind of stereotypic behavior, but I try to get her into that cage as quickly as I can, but I still have to get all the food back there and the water and all that stuff. So she'll get on the side of her cage and start moving her feet up and down, just scratch, 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 scratch. It's like she's trying to dig out of her cage. She's just had her evening meal. Now she wants to go to bed, and that's it. She wants to go to that perch. She wants to roost for the night. So she'll whine. Hi, baby. Oh, what a good song. You got another one? Oh, good girl. Good girl, Peaches. Good girl. Nice song. That's a nice song. It is. It's a good song. And one more verse. Good girl. Good girl, Peaches. Good girl. Well, you got paper there. You like paper. You got these. You like these. Yeah, you just want to be vocal now, huh? You want all the attention, baby? I know. I know. You're a good girl. Go ahead. That's all right. Next song. Oh, now you're crying. What's the matter? What's the matter? What's the matter, Peaches? Hi, Bob. So moving things around, changing the lighting. Also, if you have a television where you can have them watching movies, or I don't watch any TV. I hate television, but I leave movies on for them during the day in the socialization room. This one has his own little rail in front of the TV. And that's the front row seat. And he'll get off his main perch, walk back and forth while he's watching a movie, and then that's... The only thing that's missing is the popcorn. Right, Salamander? Yeah, he says, yeah, and you never give me any popcorn. Well, it's not true. Once in a while you get popcorn. Once in a while. I know, baby. I know. That's a good girl. So, and they have their individual likes. This one... He seems to like anything that has Bill Murray in it. But he likes action films, too. He seems to like all the Mission Impossible ones. And this one up here likes anything with Willie Nelson in it, preferably Honeysuckle Rose, right? So, it's good. You can sit back with a movie on, and they can play. And, you know, this one will come over and sit in my lap and play with me for a while. And he goes back and watches a movie. What's funny, though, is that I'll be working on the computer, and there's a file cabinet there, and he'll go all the way to the end, over by the file cabinet, and he'll peer his head around there and look at me while I'm working on the computer, and and it's obvious what he's saying. He's saying, put a movie on. Put a movie on. And you put the movie on, and then he goes over and watches it, and he's fine. So sometimes I'll be doing a video edit during the day with I think 4 or 5 birds out, and the ones that won't eat everything in here if left alone. Can't leave Bob out like that, and you can't leave Cecil out like that, because both of them will start, you know, finding things to cause trouble with. So they'll be out for the main socialization later if I'm working on video. But another side besides just the video is music. Now, you've seen the videos. Everybody's seen those videos online of birds that are dancing, right? Well, obviously, if they dance, they must like music. So I will leave music on for them when I'm not here, and if I have birds that are in here and birds that are out there, I will leave music on out in the main bird room. I have a Bluetooth speaker. It's not the world's greatest, but it works. I have a Bluetooth speaker out there, and I play Apple Music for them. So sometimes they're listening to Broadway musicals, other times they're listening to classical, other times they're listening to, could be listening to Marilyn Manson or Willie Nelson. They get a wide variety of different kinds of music that they listen to. Folk music, Blackmore's Night, and they love listening to music. This one here likes Elvis and Manson, so to entertain him, there's another thing too about entertainment, and this, and being that one-man band, you take birds places, and you may just take them to the bank. These guys go to the bank, or they go to any store that will let them in, to the hardware store here locally in this little town. And any place I can take them. They also go on long expeditions. Just getting them out for a walk around the building once a day, they totally appreciate that, and it just widens their experience of life, even if they're only out there for 10 minutes. Peaches is a good example of that, and I've ordered something so that I can actually video that. It's going to be interesting. It's basically something that it's a way to mount your iPhone on your forehead like a GoPro. So we're going to see if we can't capture what it's like for Peaches to do her walk up the hill to the mailboxes. Right, Peach? Right, Peach? Yeah. And also we're going to use that for some training videos. One of the problems with training is that it's hard to see from the perspective of the trainer and the bird at the same time. So we can actually do that if I have a head-mounted camera. So that's what we're going to try to do. But getting them out, even if it's only for a short time, walking around just a little bit, is a great way to get them experience. Would you leave my zipper alone? You can't have my zipper. So stop it. I can't afford to buy pants every time you rip my zippers to shreds, okay? You little zipper fiend. Zippers, buttons, earpieces. Yeah, that's all you look for, isn't it? You could entertain her with nothing but shirts with buttons on them, pants with multiple zippers on them, and earpieces that you hung all over your body. That would be all the entertainment this little one would need. Although she'd probably figure out that that's what you were trying to do. Hi, Peach. I know you want up. Well, here you are. You're up. So expeditions, and then expeditions like the video we have where we went to the Renaissance Fair. They love doing things like that, watching the shows, getting involved with people. And those exhibitions, going to the beach is a good thing if you don't have problems with the seagulls. Those seagulls can be a real problem. So they attacked Chloe, didn't they, Chloe? Yes, they did. The seagulls attacked you that one time. Well, let's put it this way. We went to get out of the car, and just as we're getting out, they just rained down on us like they were going to try to kill us. I mean, really bad bombing us. So I had to put her right back in the car, and she doesn't even want to see the beach. This one doesn't even want to see the beach now. Do you, Chloe? Do you, Chloe? I know. Hi, baby. Hi, baby. Now, those of you who have been watching our videos will notice that Chloe looks a little different. She seems to be more interested. She's moving around and doing more things. She's getting out of that relationship that she was in mentally now, and she's kind of heading back to where she was before the relationship. Right, Chloe? 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 Those are phones that are being used as cameras and tripods. That's all they are. You tell them, Chloe. You tell them. You you tell him, Chloe? Hey, Bob. What are you doing, Big Bob? Be nice to Roman up there, okay? And don't. You're not eating the air conditioner. No. Thank you. Hello, Peach. Okay. Yes, I know. Put you back on my chest. I know. That's just a peach. Bob, you know the peach. You know the peach. The peaches. Just have to be on my lap, huh? Have to be on my chest, or you just wound up? Oh, you're just wound up. I see it. Mm-hmm. So what's going on? Oh, I'm sorry. Just trying to preen you there, kid. What's going on? So trips are good. Going places is good. Be sure you plan it out well, though, and make sure that you've covered all the bases. That you have food for them, you have water for them, you have a medical kit, including a pair of hemostats, just in case they have a blood feather problem. Be sure you know how to pull a blood feather, because their lives are in danger whenever they're bleeding from a broken blood feather. They like meeting new people, so getting them out on expeditions or even short hops, or like these guys love going to the bank, so the people at the bank will want to hold them and talk to them, and anywhere you can take them where they can socialize with people, that certainly helps them. That certainly helps to keep them from getting too focused on life inside either a house or inside a cage. So, right, baby? Right? Having more than one room they can play in. They come back here and play. They have another playroom. They have the main playroom, and then they have the main bird room. So there's all these different areas they can roam around in. Plus, at different times of the day, you know, like in the morning, some of the birds go into the kitchen. Some won't eat in the kitchen. They simply won't eat. They'll just be too interested in playing. And we have to make sure they get their food. So, but Chloe, come here, Chloe. That's a good girl. What was that all about, babe? What are you doing? Cameras just get you all hyped up, don't they? What you doing, Chloe? Chloe bird! I know you want to come over and sit by me. Since the divorce between her and Snowball was final, she now likes to sit in my lap. And since all these birds are here right now, and I tend to do that when I'm doing a video, she's a little upset about that, I think. She wants to sit in my lap. And you, I don't know what you want today, pretty girl, but you want attention, that's for sure. So, taking them to places that they're not used to going, such as if you normally don't take them into a den or you don't take them into like a patio area that's enclosed. Taking them into new spots helps to broaden their horizons. So, or just different times. If normally these guys eat in the kitchen in the morning, and if you feed them in a cage in the morning instead, and then at night you turn around and feed them in the kitchen, or you let them have snacks in the playroom, it's a place they normally don't have it, then you'll start to see them exhibiting different behavior. Because you've broken them out of a pattern. It's very similar to when you, let's say that you've just put some money in a Coke machine and you're trying to get your drink, and hey, nothing's happening, right? You're pressing the Dr. Pepper button and it's not coming out. Well, you start beating on the machine, First you start just hitting it a little bit, then you start like whacking at it. Some people may end up kicking it, but all these strange behaviors come out when you expect something and it doesn't happen. And this is a thing we use in our training all the time. You want to get them to where they know that they can do, if they do a certain behavior, they're going to get something. And we'll break them out of that to get them to go a little farther and do something else by simply not rewarding them at that moment. And it's called an extinction burst. You're getting rid of the one behavior, and they're trying to figure out how to get that treat, right? And in the same way as with you beating on the Coke machine. So now, let's say that you hit the Coke machine on the side, and the can comes out. Then the next time when you go to that machine, if something similar happens, you'll probably hit it in the same spot. It works the same way with them. And actually, whoa! Come on, it's all right. That's a good boy. Bob, you leave Chloe alone. Good boy. Good boy. He'll do that. When he got around me, I wasn't paying attention. But he'll go after Chloe a little bit. He's a good boy because he's just over here and calm down. Play. Play. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. You play with the ball. That's a good boy. Just redirecting his attention. But he'll catch me again and probably try to do it one more time. At least. Right, Bob? Hi, Chloe. You okay? You alright? Nah, you're not getting on the floor to get that. Now, another thing that's kind of obvious, if they have a playmate, and you become adept at working with birds, more than one bird in a room, this is a great way to expand their horizons and give them a new view of the world. The flock environment, it's not quite like a flock in the wild, though, because in the wild, they would be... You're having fun over there, Salamander? Don't do it! I know what you're thinking. Don't do it. Okay. He's trying to sneak down to the heater. You leave the heater alone. Not like we need today, okay? But... So if you can get him in a play environment like this, playing with other birds, a lot of unusual circumstances will pop up. And give you great opportunities to interact with them in different ways. And what do you think, Chloe? You say hi? Chloe, you say hi? Chloe, say hi? No, Bob, you're not doing that. Chloe, say hi? No, she used to say hello. She probably will again. Give her some time. Chloe, what are you doing? Well, how's that working for you, huh? You pooping okay? You all right? Okay, all right. Well, you're not quite right. Oh. Hold on, Bob. Let me get you cleaned up. Coco. Let's see your tail. Bob. How much longer you got before you prolapse, boy? Okay. Come here, Peach. Want to come here or not? No? Oh, I love you too. You big silly bird. He says, I'm not big and I'm not silly. No, you're pretty big. You're pretty good. And as far as toys, some of them are pretty simple. Now, with Peaches as an example, she likes these toys. She also likes just these craft sticks. I get these from Amazon. They're called Woodsies. They don't have any coating or anything on them, and they're just plain wood. She loves those, and she also likes Q-tips. So she gets some of these in her cage too, but you'll notice if you give them the same thing over and over again that they get bored with it. So on some days I'll put finger traps in her cage, and I'll put these in her cage. Other days I put the craft sticks and the Q-tips, and I move things around. I put different kinds of toys in there that usually doesn't play with. Bob, come here. You're not doing that. Very sneaky, but we're not letting you do that, okay? You're going to leave her alone. Now with Sugar, fortunately, since she's a mutilator, not that she does it right now because she's on medication and she's happy, right? She likes these. She likes this rope that's made from... She likes this rope that's made from palm, and she'll chew that. And I had another toy that she likes here. Bob's been chewing on. She likes this braided palm-colored stuff. She likes that. All of them will chew on these. These are just regular straws. And I actually use these to attach toys for Sugar, and then she can chew on these, and it also attaches them. It's kind of nice because it works a little bit like a tie-down strap, those little straps that you cinch tight. Because when you tie it around, it makes a nice tie for things. And that's how I have her finger traps attached up there, is using one of those. They like the sound on the straw where it pulls out. They like that too. And those come from the dollar store. Are you okay? What happened, sweetie? You all right? You okay? Come here. Come on up here. You all right? With the normal toys, I get the pieces of wood, which is white wood from Home Depot, which is supposed to have the least amount of additives. You do need some kind of additive in the wood, though, to keep things like bugs out of it and mold and stuff. So completely unprocessed wood probably wouldn't be safe for them anyway. And there's the paper bagels, and there's some twisted palm. Get out of there. Lorelei, don't start your trouble. I sometimes go after Coco, which is what she's trying to do right now. I don't want you going after Coco. Coco's having enough trouble. She doesn't like the tripods, kid, so, okay? Be nice to her. So, I will vary what's on here. Basically, I just have pieces of wood separated by different plastic toys, and then I'll take leather strips, or I take twine, Cecil twine, that kind of thing, or cotton rope, and then I attach things with that. And then once they've torn the wood off, I just tear it apart and then rebuild it, adding new things to it. And you move them around their cages. If you have more than one bird, you can just rotate your toys around. If there's anything left, if you put anything in Cecil's cage, it's not going to last long. Normally he'll go through a couple of toys a day. So most of these guys, they'll do a toy every couple of days. But with Cecil, it's a toy every day. 2 toys every day. Right? And there's music time together, too. That's a good thing, where you play music and you dance with your bird. Now, keep in mind, if you get your bird overexcited, you're not eating my zipper. No, you're not. You may think you're eating my zipper, but you're not. They may nip, or you may get behavior that you don't want. So be careful with that, okay? Get them calmed down before you pick them up again if they're sitting on a perch dancing with you. It depends on the bird. As my mentor, Dr. Friedman, says, every bird is a study of one. So with some birds, I can have them dancing on my arm, like this one who wants to cause trouble right now. Yes, you do. You're trying to cause trouble. How about an upside down Lorelei? How does an upside down Lorelei look? Let's see. You just hanging there? What are you doing? Lorelei. You little pest. Hi, baby girl. Hi, baby girl. Hi, baby girl. This is Lorelei in a pesty mood, okay? She wants to mess with me or somebody. And she wanted to go for Coco, so now I'm getting her to mess with me instead of Coco. Right? Right? She likes to play rough, don't you? You like to play rough. Hi, baby girl. Hey, baby girl. You're a sweet girl, you know that? And speaking of sweet girls, they're peaches. You're doing pretty well, Coco, considering. Salamander, I'm sure there's no cameras catching it, but he is digging in paper on the floor right now. Yes, I said your name. I said your name, yep. He's digging because it is mating season. Unfortunately, it's only from November until March. So, for these cockatoos, so it's not like it's all year long. That's not really true, though. It can be all year long. I took Cause down to the vet yesterday because she's had a problem with just overexcitability as far as her mating response. You start talking to her and she starts to vibrate. If you talk to her too much, she starts screaming. So he gave her a Deslorilin implant, which should last for 4 months. That'll cut the estrogen out of her system. And that's supposed to be by Tuesday, she should be under the full effect of that implant. And then I'm hoping she'll get along better with the other birds, because she's been pretty rough on them. And I would like her to get back into the general population. And she hasn't been able to do that. Right, guys? Right? So, try to keep your eyes and ears open for new things you can do with your bird. Think of situations or just kind of kick back and say, what could I do that would be different? It may not impress them at all. It may appear totally bored by what you thought of. Just keep trying different things. It's the changing up and looking for new things that will draw their interest, that will keep them from going psychotic. Just try to imagine yourself locked in a room somewhere with nothing to do. And if you're anything like me, I need something to do all the time. Fortunately, I have birds that I help and people who need help with birds, and that keeps me pretty busy. But I also have a computer business and other things. I'm not one of those people who can just sit back and relax. I'm not that kind of person. Am I, Lorelei? Am I, Coco? Yeah, you look like such a calm bird. This one. Man, don't let her fool you, boy. She's into everything. Right, Chloe? Right, Chloe bird? I love you, too. So there'll be some other resources you can use to find enrichment for your bird, and those will be in the show notes. And you'll also find a lot of times, you'll find too that there are these so-called intelligent toys for your bird. They may like them. You may pay $20 for a fancy toy that they like, But remember what happens at Christmas time for young children, too. You give them a toy, and they play with the box. And often you'll find the same thing happening here. We do let them play with boxes, actually, but not generally in mating season. And actually, what Salamander's doing over there, playing in the paper, is pushing his mating behavior a little far, but we're able to keep him from really exploding. But he does pretty well, and as long as you don't give him an actual box, he will dig and he'll try to nest, but he doesn't get too out of control. He doesn't show aggressive behavior. That's the main thing we don't want him to show. He's not plucking. He doesn't have any stereotypic behavior. He's interested and involved. And if he gets bored, he'll go and dig and make a nest. But he comes out and plays a lot. So, in fact, this is the most I've seen him nest in at least a couple of weeks. Most of the time, he's busy watching movies, which there's no movie on right now. And that keeps him from nesting. And if you have a bird during mating season that has an issue with nesting or improper use of toys, using a toy as a surrogate for a mate. Speaking of mating problems, hello, Lorelei. Hello. Come here. Come here. No, you don't need to do that, baby girl. No, it's okay, sweetie. That my Lorelei? That my Lorelei? No, you're not going to do that, Bob. That's my Lorelei? Oh, that's my Lorelei upside down. What you doing? Are you upside down? Why don't we have a word for that in English? We say upside down. Isn't there a word for that? Why don't we have a word for that, Lorelei? Is there a word for that in cockatoo? So, Lorelei, you want to say goodbye to the people? No, I don't want to say goodbye to the people. Coco, why don't you say goodbye to the people? Come on, Coco. Say goodbye to the people. She says goodbye to the cameras. Goodbye to the cameras. That's our show for today. Bye, Coco. Bye, Coco. Yeah. Hi, and welcome to Thank you, Chloe. Hi, and welcome to Cockatoo. Cockatoos with Attitude. Episode 34. Coco, now I forgot what episode 34 is. Oh. And welcome to Cockatoo. Hi, and welcome to Cockatoo. Cockatoos with Attitude, episode 34, a one-man band. Yeah? Yeah? Are you sure, Chloe?
We welcome your feedback on our videos. We look forward to your insights, tips, questions, stories, and pictures. You can email us at cockatoo@chloesanctuary.org, reach us on Twitter @Chloe Sanctuary, and join with us on our Facebook Chloe Sanctuary page.
Science knowledge only adds to the excitement, the mystery, and the awe of a flower.
When rescuing parrots, you see many things: suffering, neurosis, and psychosis. Often I see eyes darkened by futility. They have given up. They have reached the point where they would rather die than continue living. Life has become a living hell, where the one they wanted to love has turned into a demon. Because of that demon, they become raving, screaming creatures that would do anything to make the pain stop. They live in a nightmare world. This is how those who gave Bob up probably felt. No, I'm not talking about Babaloo. I'm describing those 8 families who tried and failed to live with him. They never dreamt that that sweet-looking, cuddly cockatoo they brought home would turn them into awful, spiteful people who throw things at cages and yell, "Stop it!" Many may have abandoned Babaloo to his cage because they were afraid of another bite. Many may have covered his cage to stop his incessant screaming. I think most of them felt contempt for themselves. They hated what they had become. In the end, they gave him back to the rescue organization that was trying to find him a home. They returned Babaloo and went back to their lives. They no longer had to try to outwit the harpy that had stolen their peace. Bob's eyes, those knowing and intense eyes, no longer look at them with reproach from behind bars. His beak no longer threatens them with pain. The nightmare is over.
Ow!
It is ignorance of Bob's nature, ignorance of the preventative measures, ignorance of the antidotes that turned Babaloo into a living gargoyle. Ignorance is not inborn. We must treat ignorance with the salve of education. Babaloo takes people by surprise. At first he seems safe enough behind those metal bars, and most people find those bars comforting. I can bring him out when I feel like it, and then put him back. No one warned them that having a parrot is like having a 5-year-old with a pair of pliers and a foghorn. No one mentioned that Babaloo is among the last of the true dinosaurs, and reminded them of what happened in Jurassic Park. No one told them that you can break his spirit, but he will always be wild. Unwittingly, it is likely that most people sexually aroused Babaloo by petting him down the back or under his wings, bringing out his protective instincts. There are so many pitfalls in dealing with a cockatoo that in a short time Babaloo began to bite, to scream, and to act like an angry child. It wasn't Babaloo's fault, and since the people had no idea what a parrot is, it wasn't their fault either. Babaloo can bring out the worst in those who do not understand his nature, the nature of a cockatoo. Only education can change the vicious cycle of adoption, fear, loathing, and relinquishment. Bob's would-be parents made a hasty choice and found themselves in living hell, torn between guilt and frustration. The more we educate others, the less suffering there will be on both sides. I have seen the joy in Babaloo's eyes now that he has a new life with me as his companion. For me, nothing compares to that feeling. To see Babaloo love and trust again is worth the effort of a lifetime. But, once again, Bob is heading toward the pain of separation. My heart nearly broke the day I discovered that he was heading toward a cloacal prolapse, that his life will be cut short. To find love and acceptance and then have it stolen away from you by failing health is too much to bear. We can slow the progress of his failing health, but we can't stop it. He will need several surgeries, and eventually Babaloo will die. We want to give him the best possible life until that day. His surgeries will become progressively more expensive over time. Won't you please lend Babaloo a hand and donate to his medical fund today? Our donation button is on our webpage at www.chloesanctuary.org. Just be sure to say, "For Bob," in the notes when you donate.